Hey, Broker Nation. Today on the show, I have Noel Murdoch and Tim Osborn, and it's kind of a different show. I had my friend Sua Trung, who teaches commercial finance, which I actually know nothing about. I've heard lots of good things about what he's doing, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a little digging on his program, talk to some of his students, and see what sort of results they've had from learning how to do commercial finance. And so Noel and Tim both only been in the business for 3 years, and the results and things that they've been able to do from learning how to do commercial finance has been pretty cool. So I think you're going to enjoy this. So check this out. And if you're interested, you can check out what Sue is doing for the commercial finance stuff. He does training programs periodically in Toronto and in Vancouver. And if it's something that you want to learn how to do, man, don't try to figure it out on your own. Don't spend 5 years learning this. Go learn it fast so that you can apply it, and check out this interview with Noel and Tim. So, hey, Noel, how's it going?
Good, thanks, Scott.
And Tim, how's it going, brother?
Fantastic, thanks.
So I'm going to chat with Noel first, and then I'm going to chat with Tim. So Noel, tell me, what were you doing before you got into the mortgage business?
Before I got into the mortgage industry, I was a EMT in EMS, and I also taught in EMS and was in it for just over 5 years.
Okay, cool. That's kind of my background is very similar. So I started in emergency services, and you look pretty young. So what people would say to me, like, are you old enough to do this? Like, does your mom know you're doing this? And they gave me a hard time, but now I've gotten a lot older and nobody says that anymore. And I don't get ID'd anymore. Okay, so 3 years in the business. And so when did you take the course? So you took this commercial finance course. When did you take it?
I took the finance course over Easter break 2017.
Okay, and what made you decide to take it? Because obviously sometimes you see these things and you're like, should I do it? Like, what was the thing that made you decide you wanted to do it?
So I felt like I was getting a lot of self-employed and business owners coming to me, asking financing questions and commercial stuff. And as well, being an EMS, and there was a lot of contractors in that as well. And so those were a lot of the contacts that I had coming into the mortgage industry. And I just felt like I couldn't service those clients. And I couldn't find, I guess, somebody to service them for me. So I thought, maybe I just take the course and take it on myself and learn how to do it so I can take care of those people.
Okay, and then so what did you think of it because you went away for it was a 2-day thing, is that right?
Yeah, it was a 2-day thing. So I flew out from Edmonton and went and did the course in Surrey, and then flew home. And I thought it was really great. It introduced me to the whole world of all the lingo of commercial financing, really how they look at the files, all of the jargon that, people would want to know. And I think it also gave me, I guess, the realization that the banks want to work with you. So I didn't really go and approach any banks to ask them, how do I do commercial financing or anything like that when I started. But taking Sua's course, all of the documents are there, all of the information was there, and it really gave me the confidence and the ability to really dive into that area of lending.
So you took the program, then how long did it take you to start working on your first commercial file?
I guess I took the program because there was a client that had come to me. They were looking at doing a $5 million build construction in Kelowna, and I didn't really know how to do it. I had already done all their personal mortgages, and so that was actually one of the pushes to sign up for this course was, I have this file, and if I take the course and I figure out how to do it, I can do this file. So I had it even before going into the course, and then we actually funded 6 months after taking the course.
Right. Okay. So, and that's in my market, which is okay. You did a mortgage in my community. It's totally fine. There's lots of, so you did this one mortgage. And then, so what was something that was surprising to you about that you learned from commercial that was different than residential?
I guess it was just really that the banks, like on the commercial side, banks are your friends. I'm not competing against any banks because I'm shopping all of them for the client. And I got to realize that each bank addresses certain things very differently, and so their pricing is very different. And so I realized that I can actually save the client a lot of money just by shopping and doing all the shopping around for them. And I can set them up for success. You almost become a bit of a business coach as well. So the first one that I did, they just had a Yellow Pages listing when I first started working with them. So I actually sent them to get branding done. We branded the project. We did everything like that. And it was actually a lot easier than to call, and ask for $4.2 million and get them funded. So
Right.
it was surprising to just really get to be involved with business owners in an entirety and see the project from start to finish. So there was a very steep learning curve, especially in the first one in doing a construction one. But yeah, there was a lot to learn.
And so what was the ROI like for you on from that first deal?
It sounds crazy and out there, but it's 600%.
So from the cost of the program, what you made in that first file was 600%. Did you ever think, when you're an EMT, because I know I was, I was in the same industry, and the pay is not super high. Do you ever imagine you'd make that much money on one file?
No, I never would have imagined that I would have made like over half of my year's wages as an EMT in 6 months. And really like a couple months of hard work on that file. So I know I never would have imagined that.
And so what do you have right now in terms of your pipeline of commercial stuff that you're working on? Because you've been able to spin that, or not spin that, but able to leverage that into new files, right?
Yes. So there's a few contractors that I'm working with that we're looking at seeing what they can do for development properties. And then as well, some really cool small business things that are happening. So I'm helping one business owner actually expand now into multiple locations for his business, his retail business. So we're working on that. And then as well, some really cool event space coming to Edmonton. So music events, wedding space, and just working with some really passionate owners in that as well.
That's cool. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to come back and ask you a couple other questions. I want to switch to Tim. Tim, how's it going, brother?
Great.
So, Tim, how long have you been in the mortgage business?
So I'm in my third year of mortgage brokering.
And what were you doing before you were doing mortgages?
So I originally started off trained in robotics and industrial automation. Within a few years, I was part of a consulting team doing lean transformations, where you're working a lot with people in office and production environments, and you're helping them to identify waste in processes and improve it. I eventually left there just because of all the travel that was involved, but I learned that I love working with people way more than with machines. And so after that was a real passion to have that people connection.
Most people who are like working with machines don't ever like to work with people. It's not like, usually it's like machines. I understand people are messy and they're frustrating. So good for you for making that transition. So when did you decide to take the commercial finance course?
Well, I had been prior to becoming a mortgage broker the last 4 years, I was doing a lot of work with a global IT company, working a lot with large contracts and proposals, analyzing requirements, coming up with solutions and presenting the proposal package. So when I switched over to mortgage brokering, there was some cool stuff you could do with the residential, but I really saw an opportunity to bring value to commercial clients. So I was about a year and a half into it when I took the course the first time. And really, with residential, you're just kind of like wandering through a gigantic food court. All the products are there, the prices are listed, the rates are there. So clients can either wait in line forever and find out if their food tolerances are accommodated or not, or you go to a broker. But it is what it is. With commercial, as has already been said, it's as good as a presentation package as you can put together. So with the first file that I did, I had a client come to me. He was a doctor trying to set up his own practice. He wanted to buy a strata unit. And he says, well, I've got 60% down and my bank still wants prime plus 2. So I interviewed the clients. I even went online and found out a bunch of great recognition they'd had, various awards that they didn't even tell me about. Was able to put together a package for the lenders, and we got them options for 100% financing at prime. And we basically put, I don't know, $200,000 back in their pocket over the life of the mortgage. So there was no concern about the fee.
Right, because it's about a solution. Okay, so so what did you think of the 2-day program that you went to?
So the course was great. It gave you everything you needed to know right then and there, rather than have to search and find it all out yourself. It just gave me that confidence to reach out to the lenders and to basically speak to the clients on that higher level. So after the fact, I right away I didn't have the commercial clients already, but I lined up conversations with the various commercial lenders. And I basically went in and said, look, I want to know your job so I can do it for you, because you're measured on the quality of the files and the volume of files that you're bringing in. So basically, I want to hand you a package. You're going to open it and say, yep, that's exactly what I was going to do. But in exchange for that, I want best rates, best terms for my clients, because I have to justify there's a fee. They need to be saving money, putting money back in their pocket, as well as paying me. And the feedback was that, wow, no broker has ever done this. In the office, we actually hate broker files because most of the time they throw a T4, an NOA at us, and then they still have the gall to charge the client a fee. It says, well, you're actually doing the work for us. So it's
Right.
so far got great response.
So bankers are friends, not enemies in this when you have this type of business. Okay, so what's one thing surprising that you learned from the program that you for commercial financing that's different than residential?
Well, one thing that's neat is that in residential side, you would never put a file out to First Nat, Street Capital, NCAP, and say, hey, just so you know, I've got it in at 3 lenders, so sharpen your pencil. They'll tell you to take a hike. Whereas you do that with commercial. They want to know who they're competing against. And so, you're competing with this, this, and this. They already have a relationship with RBC, so give us your best shot. And they start to throw in all kinds of things to sweeten the pot.
Right. That's amazing. And then, so what was the ROI like for you on taking the program?
Well, the course was $5,000, and I would say that, potentially 70 to 100 grand this year just in commercial files.
Right. And on top of your residential. Are you still doing residential?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
I still like that.
Sorry, what kind of time commitment is in a typical commercial file? I guess there's nothing typical though. What has your experience been like?
It can take a while, especially if they've got some challenges on their profile. I would say the biggest thing is the lead time. The lead time can take several months, even a year to fund, but I would say we're the same as a difficult residential file. I don't know if that answers your question.
Right. Okay. And so if you could go back to, you've been in the business 3 years, knowing what you've learned, what would you say to yourself 3 years ago when you started out?
I would start right away with the commercial program. I would get out there and talk to my commercial lenders to learn what programs and niche plays they have. And then I would put myself out to my broker colleagues, because most colleagues don't really know or don't want to get into that space. And they're quite happy to share the files, and there's lots of money to reward them for that referral.
Right. And just out of curiosity, have you done any files in Kelowna, in my market as well?
I'd rather not discuss that on this call.
Okay. You dirty dog, I know you have. You guys, seriously, I'm just teasing. Okay, what about for you, Noel? If you had an opportunity to go back and you're just starting out in the mortgage business, and now learning what you've already learned, what would you say to yourself?
I think part of it would just be that, if anybody tells you that you can't do something, but it's really somewhere that you feel passionate about, just do it. It doesn't matter if you've been in it for a couple months or you've been in it for a couple of years. If it's something that you feel is interesting and pulling you towards it, just do it. Right.
So, what would you say to yourself? So that's like advice for people in general. But so if Noel could sit down with
Noel. I would have told myself too.
Okay.
Because I know I actually waited a long time to really even search out a program. I waited over a year of kind of having those type of contacts coming towards me, but because some other people told me, it's a whole nother beast, it's hard, you can't do it, then I sort of put it on the back burner for a while, but I just found that those clients kept coming to me. So, if there's something that interests you and seems to be just coming towards you, just do it.
Okay, well, that's awesome. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to share your experience. I personally have not done commercial files. I've done private, but and I wanted to chat with some people that have gone through Sua's program, but not only went through it, but actually then applied it. Because sometimes, unfortunately, people will go through a program and not do it. But you guys are both like, no, there's so much opportunity. And the thing that surprised me that I did not know this, and which you guys taught me, is that the bankers, that they're so eager to work with you versus on the residential side, they want to eat your lunch. Right? They're like, I want to punch out your teeth and eat your lunch. In commercial, it's like, no, come in. And the idea that you guys are working together with them that's pretty cool. Actually, you're convincing me. I'm like, maybe I should do this. What am I thinking? Right. But but anyways, I really appreciate it, guys. Any last words, Tim?
No, just other than that, go give it a shot. You got nothing to lose, everything to gain.
Okay. Thanks, brother. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Noel.
Thanks, Scott.
Cheers.